What makes the US a superpower? After World War II, the US imposed on the world a new economic order through the IMF and the World Bank, but most important through the dollar hegemony with the Bretton Woods agreement. The US ended the war and economically much stronger as both Europe and Asia had been weakened. The US had around 40% of the world GDP and 75% of gold reserves. The dollar value was backed by gold, meaning that countries could go to the Federal Reserve and claim their dollar trade surplus against physical gold. At first, the US had a large trade surplus, until the late 60s when it started having a large trade deficit, meaning buying more than it was selling. This was until Nixon's speech in 1971, which stated that the US dollar would not be backed by gold anymore. So the US dollar became a fiat currency, just paper based on trust, and the US trade surplus would be financed by the rest of the world through buying US treasury bonds. Basically, the US had acquired what de Gaulle called the exorbitant privilege of the dollar, and could practically print unlimited paper currency in exchange of goods. Whoever would challenge the US would end up completely destroyed. We remember Gaddafi, who wanted to create a currency backed by gold for Africa, while China and Russia have been stopping purchasing US debt for the last 5 to 10 years. Russia has completely sold its US treasury bonds holding, while China has stopped buying US debt, and instead recycled its trade surplus in dollar into tangible assets through the Belt and Road Initiative and also through the massive purchase of gold. So lately the US has basically no country buying US treasury bonds, and the deficit is being funded mainly by printing currency, which is one of the reasons of the inflation we are seeing these days. Additional to that, China and Russia have started a long time ago using other tools to bypass the dollar. The dominance of the collective West is gradually collapsing. The fall of the dollar will be the end of the unipolar world and the beginning of a multipolar and decolonized world, more fair and more democratic, where the global South will regain its dignity and the collective West will stop having a free lunch at the expense of the rest of the world.